Okay, welcome back to Bake Monkey. Today we're going to be doing Fruity Pebble Macarons. And first thing we're going to need is 120 grams of sifted almond flour. If you hear growling in the background, that's why. I got two golden retrievers fighting to the death. Just kidding, they're playing. Okay, 120 grams of sifted almond flour. Okay, my assistant is going to be sifting that. Okay, we've got our 120 grams of sifted almond flour. Now we're going to do 90 grams of sifted powdered sugar. Okay, next thing we're going to need is we're going to take our food processor and pour in about a cup of Fruity Pebbles in here. And we are going to pulse this 10 times on high. Take this over. So we need 20 grams of sifted Fruity Pebbles, and then we're going to take the rest of the Fruity Pebbles, the bigger pieces, and we're going to set those aside to decorate our macarons on top after we pipe them. So watch the scale here. So we need 20 grams of sifted Fruity Pebbles. All right. And 20. All right. Now we're going to set the rest of these bigger pieces aside, like I said. Wow, you guys are having some fun over there, aren't you? All right. Okay. Okay, so now that we've got our powdered sugar, almond flour, and Fruity Pebbles all sifted in here, we're going to whisk this together before we add in our extra large egg white. Okay, now we're going to do our extra large egg white right in the middle here. All right. Perfect. Try and crack it nice and even so it comes out without a hitch. Perfect. All right. Now we're going to gently mix our ingredients all together here. Get it well incorporated with the egg white. Okay, once it's relatively mixed up, I always like to ditch the bowl scraper and then just mix it up with my hand a little bit. Get your hands in there and get dirty, get it all incorporated, just fold it over itself over and over again. Push it all together, just like that. Just get your hand in there and let your muscle do the work. All right, that's perfect. Cover that with some saran wrap and let's make the Italian meringue. Okay, to make our Italian meringue, we're going to start by cracking one egg white into our stand mixer here. Carefully separate that from the yolk. Extra large room temperature egg white. That looks good. All right. And then put this on the mixer. Put your whisk down so you're prepared to go after your hot sugar and water starts boiling to the right. A full 1/3 cup sugar straight into the pan. And then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of water straight in there. Perfect. Now we're going to gently mix that around so the sugar and water gets incorporated together. And we've already got our heat on I like to put mine at about a number 7 out of, I guess that would be 9 on there, wouldn't it? 7 out of 9. So medium high heat is, I guess, what you'd call that. And once we start seeing this boil, we're gonna set our timer for 2 minutes. And after about 2 minutes on medium high heat, it should be to the right heat to start pouring into our egg whites. All right, so now that we're seeing our bubbles, it's boiling, we're gonna start our timer for 2 minutes. In about 1 minute, we're gonna start the mixer over here to start getting our egg whites going. Fluff those up a little bit before we add our hot sugar mixture here. All right, so we've got about 1 minute left on our timer. We're gonna move over here, pop this on to level 6. Let that start We're gonna let that start incorporating some larger bubbles on a lower speed while this continues to bubble over here, heat up. It's looking good. Now we're gonna crank this up to number 8. We're gonna try and get that egg white a little bit frothy and white before we add this sugar mixture. Got about 20 seconds left on our timer here. There's our timer. Let's turn that off. And that looks like it's ready. Turn the stove off. Bring this hot sugar syrup over here. And as you can see, the egg white is nice and fluffy and white now. We're just gonna slowly add this down the side of the mixer here. And we're gonna let that mix. Side of the bowl is scalding hot right now. We're gonna let this mix about 5 minutes or until the bowl is fully cool. Don't want the bowl to be hot. So we're just gonna step away for about 5 and come back. Okay, the bowl is cool. It's been about 5 minutes. We're gonna turn this off. And let's see how it did. Ooh, looks real nice. Got your stiff peaks like we like to see. Okay, now that your Italian meringue is made and your macaron batter is ready for it, let's start mixing this in. So you're gonna start with about 1/3 of this to begin with. That's just to loosen this initial amount up. You just, you don't wanna be too gentle with it at this point. Just kind of chop it up. All you're looking to achieve at this point is lightening up this batter so it's easier for the other 2/3 of your meringue to be incorporated in there and be able to fold it in nice and lightly. So with this initial amount, just kind of smush it, chop it, slap it, whatever you gotta do. All right, excellent. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and mix the other 2/3 of this in. And then the technique that I prefer is just an over and through method with folding macarons. Over and through. Over, through. Over, through. Over and through. So. Let's see how this is looking. That's looking pretty darn good, I'd say. Maybe a couple more turnarounds and then we'll put it into our piping bag. It's looking pretty good. Okay, now we're gonna feed this macaron batter into our piping bag that's been cleverly outfitted around a Yeti mug. So, go ahead and just feed that in a bit at a time. Let it kind of run down the side so you don't get too many air bubbles in there. Looking good. All right. Scrape off your scraper and then pull this bad boy out. And you'll see you've got a piping bag full of macaron gold ready to go. Now that you got it all twisted at the top and ready to go, cut off, I like to cut off about a dime size hole here with my sweet pink scissors. These are actually the sharpest scissors in my house, believe it or not. Kid scissors. Cut off about that much, and then you're just gonna pipe straight down. I guess that's not really dime size. That's like a Skittle size hole. All right, so I like a Skittle size hole for my piping bag. You learn something new every day, don't you? All right. And then easy method for piping macarons. Keep your bag straight up and just squeeze, let go, don't squeeze anymore, and swipe. Squeeze, swipe. Squeeze, swipe. Squeeze, swipe. Squeeze, swipe. Squeeze, release, swipe. And then just continue on going through here until your tray is full. Now that those are all piped out, first thing you're going to do is lift your pan, put your hand underneath and just burp these like a little baby. You're not going too hard, just give them a little tappy. And then go ahead and drop your pan one time. Not from high, just low. Like that. And if you want to do that again, feel free. Now remember those Fruity Pebble, the larger chunks that I told you we were going to come back to? This is where these come into play. We're going to sprinkle these all over the tops of each one of these guys. All right. It's looking good. Perfect. All right. Now we're going to let these cure for about 30 minutes to an hour before we bake them. You just want to be able to run your finger over the top of these without them sticking to your finger. You want them to form a nice shell on top. All right, see you in about 30 minutes to an hour. Probably closer to an hour. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. These do have their nice firm shell formed on them. I can run my fingers over them without any tackiness. So let's put them in the 300-degree oven for 14 minutes. Let's see how they do. Turn your timer off. And let's see how these little babies came out. Not bad, not bad. All right. Now we're gonna let these cool and make the filling for them. Okay, so now that our macarons are done, we're gonna start making our filling for the Fruity Pebble macarons. So first thing we're going to do is switch our scale from grams to ounces, okay? Get your bowl on there, zero it out, and we're going to do 1 ounce of cream cheese. Pretty close. Close enough. All right. So there's our ounce of cream cheese. And we're going to start by mixing this up with our hand mixer. We're going to give it a good mix and give this a nice little mixing. Okay. So the reason we did that is just to soften it up a little bit. Next thing we're going to need here, zero your scale out. Next thing we're going to need is a 1/2 ounce of heavy cream. So let's watch the scale. Bada boom. 1/2 ounce or 0.62. That'll work too. Mix that up. And we're going to mix this up really good until the cream is a little bit frothy. We'll go ahead and stop there. As you can see, nice and firm. It's not runny. Okay, we're done with our scale at this point. We were actually done with it a minute ago, but I decided to mix on it. I hope that wasn't too distracting for you. Okay, next thing we're going to need 6 ounces of butter. Sorry, not 6 ounces, 6 tablespoons of butter. Forgive me for my mistake. Okay, 6 ounces of butter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boop. Get that right in there. You don't have to be too exact with these filling measurements. It helps to be semi-exact, but you don't have to worry yourself too much. It's going to taste good regardless. Obviously, you don't have to be too exact because look at me go. You want that to be room temp so it's nice and soft. It'll mix up nice and easy. So get that incorporated with your cream cheese. All right, perfect. Okay, next thing, 1/3 cup powdered sugar. Looks like 1/3 to me. All right. And then at this point, start the mixer really slow, because if you start fast, you're going to get a big cloud of powdered sugar right off the bat, and that's no fun. Then you'll have a mess. We try to eliminate most messes as well as we can. Okay, it's looking good. And when that's all incorporated nicely, okay, the final step of making our mix is we're going to need about a 1/2 cup of these Fruity Pebbles into our food processor again. It's about a 1/2 cup, it looks like. Like I said, you don't have to be too exact. Just have fun with your recipes. That's the main thing about baking. Just have some fun. All right, pulse this 10 times on high. And that is done. That's about how your crumbs should look. And then final step here is to take your Fruity Pebbles, dump them straight in, and then grab your rubber scraper and just kind of fold these into the mix that you made. Don't over mix, because the colors might start bleeding together a little bit. Just kind of fold it around nice and gently. Scrape off your bowl scraper. Make sure that's all looking good. which it is. It's looking so nice. Then last thing we're going to do is transfer this to a piping bag and fill our macarons. I feel like this Yeti mug's been getting quite a bit of camera time. It's almost as though Yeti's a sponsor, which they're not. But Yeti, if you are looking to sponsor me, that's cool. I'll accept that. Alright, so that's all in there. And then pull that out. Now, once you get this mixture in your piping bag, you can refrigerate it just to get it firmed back up. It should be relatively chilled, or room temperature at least already, but if you do want it colder, just to give it a firmer feel when you pipe it onto your macarons, you can just pop that in the refrigerator for half hour to an hour or overnight. Last thing we're going to do here is fill these bad boys with this sweet cream filling. And you don't need a whole lot of this, just a little bit goes a long way, so just give it a nice little dollop right in the middle. And then this actually got pretty chilled in the fridge. There we go. That first bit was a little too firm. And there you have it. Then put the tops on these bad boys and you're all done. For anybody out there that's had a Fruity Pebble Macaron at a bakery and it was just flavored with some kind of artificial fruity flavor or something, and they were severely let down, this recipe's for you. Because these actually really do taste like Fruity Pebbles. I was in Hawaii a couple years ago and I got a Fruity Pebble Macaron at one of the bakeries out there and I was so disappointed. It was really just like a artificial fruit flavoring on a colorful macaron. It didn't taste like Fruity Pebbles at all. It just tasted like a crappy artificial fruit flavor. This recipe is a shout out to anybody that was ever bamboozled by an imposter Fruity Pebble Macaron that really just tasted more like a dumpster full of Barney Rubble's hot turds. And there you have it, Fruity Pebble Macarons. Everybody, this is one of the fan favorites that I make for people. And have yourself a bite. Here we go. All right. See you next recipe.